In this podcast episode, Lex Fridman dives deep into a wide-ranging conversation with Khabib Nurmagomedov, one of the greatest undefeated fighters in MMA history. Their dialogue spans Khabib's upbringing in Dagestan, the challenges and nuances of his martial arts career, the philosophical and spiritual foundations shaping his life, insights into his coaching and leadership roles, reflections on legendary fighters past and present, and the cultural and personal significance of football. Throughout, Khabib offers profound wisdom on discipline, faith, mental strength, and legacy. Khabib's roots trace back to the rugged mountains of Dagestan, where he was born and raised in villages such as Sildi and Kiroval before moving to Makhachkala, the capital. His father built a modest gym inside their home long before formal facilities existed. This small, sparse environment fostered a relentless work ethic and deep connection to wrestling and combat sports through generations. Despite harsh conditions, such as a single shower for many athletes and minimal equipment, this environment yielded an extraordinary number of world-class champions. The difficult living conditions, deep historic struggles for survival, and mountainous terrain forged physical and mental toughness in the people of Dagestan. Khabib emphasizes that such harsh beginnings, including his father's rigorous and no-nonsense coaching style, instilled the hunger and discipline necessary to succeed at the highest levels. The cultural norm in Dagestan values wrestling and fighting as a foundational part of life. Strength, honor, and the ability to defend oneself are revered and passed down through families and villages, with generations shaped by centuries of conflict and resilience. Khabib reflects on the notion that comfort can be an enemy of champions, not universally, but especially in combat sports. The scarcity and necessity breed grit and hunger, which underpin elite performance. Wrestling and MMA require minimal expensive equipment, but immense dedication, and he argues that those born into luxury rarely develop the drive required to endure injuries and exhaustion. He believes that the combination of tough coaches, high competition, and a systemic ladder from local gyms to world championships in Dagestan creates fertile ground for champions. Yet he contrasts this with football, soccer in Dagestan, which lacks the structured ecosystem of clubs, academies, and pathways seen in countries like Brazil and Argentina, explaining why wrestling and fighting dominate there. Dagestan's unique geographic and cultural history is integral to understanding its fighting spirit. Positioned between the Caspian Sea and the Caucasus Mountains, it has been a crossroads for powerful empires and armies for thousands of years. This endless flow of invasions forged a fierce independence among the mountainous peoples, preserving a rich mosaic of languages, traditions, and beliefs. Khabib reflects on notable figures like Imam Shamil, who resisted Russian conquest for decades, and the ancient importance of the city of Derbent. He articulates how such a deep, layered history and martial tradition has permeated his identity, physically, psychologically, and spiritually, making toughness and resilience part of the collective blood people inherit. Describing his grueling routine from childhood through his pro career, Khabib reveals the fanatical commitment required to reach the top. Training sessions spanned mornings and evenings, with occasional secret third workouts, building both physical endurance and mental resilience. He attributes much of his success to a hatred of losing, more than a simple love of winning, a relentless drive that propelled him through years of discipline, sacrifice, and challenge. Khabib shares anecdotes about sparring and the intense environments he thrived in, including moments where he felt nearly broken but pressed through. Toughness, humility, and an acceptance of critique are key to growth, as is the ability to control emotions and maintain focus during high-stakes fights. Khabib's father was the central guiding figure of his life, his coach, mentor, and moral compass. From encouraging hard work through tasks like digging pits to instilling values through reading geography and history, his father emphasized education and discipline alongside sport. His strict approach extended into education, training, and everyday conduct, creating a strong foundation of character. The emotional distance that typifies their traditional father-son relationship is layered with deep respect and unspoken love. Khabib credits his father for keeping him humble, grounded, and mentally prepared to face life's pressures. The loss of his father was a profound moment, that reinforced the importance of faith and patience. Acknowledging the difference between street fights and sanctioned competition, Khabib recounts early memories where he was dragged into conflicts by his older brother. His father warned against using force recklessly, instilling understanding of when to fight and why. He saw firsthand that even top wrestlers can be vulnerable outside the rules and structure of combat sports. This recognition helped shape his decision to pursue MMA with discipline and respect for the craft. Khabib's MMA style evolved from a deep wrestling base, supplemented by combat sambo techniques, gained through a broad range of competitions starting at age 15. His approach stresses constant pressure, using an opponent's strength against them and relentlessly targeting their weaknesses. The mental game was as vital as the physical, with Khabib emphasizing calmness, strategic patience, and control over emotions to avoid being baited or distracted. His iconic fight with Conor McGregor represents a pinnacle moment in both his career and UFC history, transcending sport to become a cultural phenomenon fueled by real rivalry, religious and familial pride, and incomparable hype. Khabib describes maintaining composure amid intense public and media pressure, with his father's support serving as a vital psychological anchor. His final fight against Justin Gaethje was emotionally challenging due to the loss of his father and accumulated physical injuries, making it the toughest mental fight of his career. Khabib reflects on the unique intensity of that last battle and how it will never be replicated. Khabib speaks reverentially about key figures who influenced him or the sport. Mauricio Shogun Rua impressed him with resilience and striking during the Pride era. Georges St. Pierre's timing, strategy, and layered skills left a similar mark. He vividly recalls Fedor Emelianenko's humility and dominance, highlighting Fedor's appearance at the Dagestan Combat Sambo Championships as a personal inspiration. He praises Daniel Cormier's unique athletic trajectory from Olympic wrestling to dual UFC champions and their longtime friendship and mutual learning. Khabib also underscores the mental demands of top MMA coaches like Javier Mendez and the importance of individualized training and cornering. His close kinship with Islam Makhachev embodies the cyclical nature of mentorship, legacy, and the passing of the torch in elite fighting circles. Khabib admires Islam's discipline, sacrifice, and character, while noting the challenges age and weight classes impose in the sport. Khabib reveals a lifelong passion for football, nurtured since childhood through his father and local traditions in Dagestan. His allegiance centers on Real Madrid from the 1998 Champions League final onward, with appreciation for Brazilian and Dutch national teams during his youth. He admires the English Premier League's competitiveness and follows clubs like Manchester City and Arsenal with interest. He reflects on football legends such as Zidane, Ronaldo, both Brazilian and Portuguese, Messi, and Zlatan Ibrahimovic, describing their charisma, playing styles, leadership, and psychological fortitude. The rivalry between Messi and Ronaldo, in particular, is credited with elevating global football culture and standards. Khabib recognizes the complexity of legacy and how the weight of icons like Maradona shaped Messi's career. When asked about football styles, Khabib favors players who take initiative, are willing to accept risks and mistakes, and lead their teams dynamically, traits exemplified by Cristiano Ronaldo, Zlatan, and Maradona. Over recent years, Khabib and his team have made Dubai a second home, training at the Nad Al Sheba Sports Complex with strong backing from Sheikh Hamdan. He expresses deep gratitude for the government support in the UAE and highlights Dubai's rise as a global hub for sport, business, and culture. The region's rapid growth and cosmopolitan nature have attracted many athletes worldwide and played a key role in hosting major MMA events. Faith in Islam plays a central role in Khabib's worldview, daily routine, and moral compass. Rooted in traditions from childhood, his practice of salah, prayer, grounds his life and decisions. He credits his belief in God for helping him cope with loss, maintain humility amid success, and navigate the trials of life. Khabib speaks poignantly about understanding life's transient nature, the importance of preparing for the afterlife, and how faith instills patience and accountability. He warns of the dangers when wealth, power, and fame escape spiritual grounding, emphasizing that real strength comes from recognizing human limitations and placing ultimate trust in God. Khabib urges young people to read, learn, and seek knowledge as a path toward truth and self-understanding. He highlights religious teachings as a framework for living with purpose beyond temporary gains. He encourages humility, recognizing the fleeting nature of worldly success and grounding one's actions in service to a higher purpose. His vision of legacy is tied not only to accomplishments, but to inspiring others, fostering goodness, and acting with sincerity and responsibility. He acknowledges human imperfection, but stresses continual effort towards self-improvement and genuine living. Khabib holds great respect for UFC President Dana White's business acumen and ability to steward MMA's growth globally. He also admires commentator Joe Rogan's charisma and intellect, expressing eagerness to engage in future deep conversations with him. He discusses fighter representation by manager Ali Abdelaziz, recognizing his loyalty and complex reputation in the MMA community. Khabib's experience transitioning from fighter to leader and mentor acknowledges the diverse psychological and practical needs of athletes at the highest level. Throughout their conversation, Khabib balances pride in his achievements with humility, emphasizing that the public only ever sees the best parts a celebrity chooses to show. He remains committed to authenticity, personal growth, and preserving a grounded sense of self amidst fame and shifting roles.